Hello, it's Dr. Diana, and welcome to Facebook Live on Thursday night. I'm your host, Dr. Diana Hoppe, and we do these normally the second and fourth Thursday of each month. This was a different one because we had technological issues last time, so I'm making up for it for last week. But in general, it's the second and fourth Thursday of each month at 5:30. I am your host, Dr. Diana Hoppe. I am a board certified OBGYN, and I love education. I love teaching. I love having people get motivated. And so I'm also the founder and creator of AmazingOver40.com. So that's a website that helps women understand what's happening to their bodies late 30s, early 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, and beyond. So please go to that site, tell your friends about it, and know that there's a huge amount of information that's going to help you, your family, your sisters, your mothers, everybody about what is menopause and how to stay amazing at whatever age you are. So please join me and please put your name and where you're coming from. Hello, Erica. Erica is from Canada. So glad you're here with me, Erica. And she says, "Hi, Dr. Diana." So that's what I go by. So you can always call me Dr. Diana. So please let me know where you're coming from and if you have any questions. Because today we're going to talk about getting your vacay vibes back, which is actually pretty easy. Not really easy. It depends if you make the decision to do it. So, why is it important first to have a vacation? Well, I think that many of us may know that we get really burnt out, right? The same job, the same hours, there's no break, it's the same old, and you get kind of depressed and tired and just lack motivation. So, vacations can be really, really helpful. So let's go back and just take a look at some statistics about vacations themselves. And so when you look at the statistics in the United States, about a quarter of all U.S. American workers have never taken more than 2 weeks vacation at one time. This is Kona. He's my kitty cat. He wants to join us tonight. So again, 25% of American workers have never taken more than 2 weeks at a time. So let's say you want to go to like Australia or someplace really far. That should take about 2 weeks. Definitely, you should have a 2 week vacation for that. And again, most Americans don't take even a week to 2 week vacations at one time. And a lot of the vacation days are forfeited. That means given away. And when you look at those people who do not take vacations, that is, those people that work more than 55 hours a week, they have a higher risk of stroke and dying of heart disease. And why is that? That's because of inflammation. And this is so funny because you see his tail wagging, but he's been kind of neglected all day. So I'm trying to let him be with me today, with us here, and all you cat lovers out there, please join me. Kona's about like 14, but he acts like he's 2. So anyway, it's always fun to have a nice little pet around. So what are the real benefits? So we know there's risk of not taking a vacation. So when you take a vacation, it also helps with a lot of parts of your body. And so it helps increase your mindfulness. It helps decrease stress, which we know stress is the number one culprit about how it causes inflammation. It can cause heart disease. It can cause so many things, diabetes. So limiting your stress and decreasing your stress is huge. So I'm a big proponent of decreasing your stress level. And also when you take what we call a real vacation, which I'll explain in a minute, it increases your mindfulness. That is, being present in the moment. Like I'm being present with my little Kona here, who's on with me because he wants to join our video. But it's really being in the time that you are. That is, being where you are right now. So I'm right now sitting in my little home office. I have my kitty cat Kona with me, and I'm doing a Facebook Live about vacay and getting your vacay vibes back. So it helps being more mindful and being present. Again, it decreases the risk for heart disease, and it also decreases the risk for diabetes. So when you're less stressed, you improve your blood sugars. So that is, we don't have as high blood sugar levels, and we have less, we call insulin resistance. So when you have too high of blood sugar levels, your insulin goes up too high, and then you can also have insulin resistance, which means you're more risk for what we call metabolic syndrome and also more risk for stroke and heart attacks. I think many of you also would be likely to say that when you go on vacation, you also sleep better. That's because you're probably not at home with all the stressors, the different obligations and things you have to do. So when you go on vacation, it actually helps your sleep. And studies have shown that after 2 to 3 days of vacation, people averaged about 1 hour more of quality sleep during the night, and they had less awakenings, which is really cool, right? For all you ladies who get up at 2, 3 in the morning with hot flashes, taking a vacation will help decrease some of those awakenings. It also helps, because you get better quality sleep, your brain power. So you're able to process things better able to remember things, basically better able to handle all life's stressors and things that come your way. So vacation is really important. And I love taking vacations, as many as you know. I love taking vacations. And when I take vacations, what I really like to do is do something called a real vacation. Now, some of us have gone on vacation, and before you go, you're working your little tail off, trying to get ready for vacation, and then you come back from vacation, and you're more tired than you should have been tired, but you have to catch up on all the work that you didn't do while you were going on vacation, right? So it's really important that when you do go on a real vacation, that you don't bring your work. I know it's hard, but if you bring your work, you're still kind of in that zone or rut of work, work, work. So we need to get off the laptop, get off the phone if possible, and really just be without technology. That's going to really help you be less stressed, be more in the moment, be all those things that I was saying. So again, any of you who want to join, please say who you are and where you're coming from, where you're calling from, because I'd love to answer your questions and introduce you on our Facebook Live tonight. We're talking about vacay vibes and why it's really important to take a vacation. And I'm focusing now on what is a real vacation, like a real vacation versus what is the vacation where you're like, I'm just going to go. I really didn't have a good time. I'm more tired when I got back. That type of thing. We don't want those kind of vacations. We want a vacation where you come back refreshed. You're ready to get back to your work if that's what you're doing, and just more refreshed, rejuvenated, right? You want to come back feeling more energy than you did before you left. So we don't want to bring work on our vacation. We also want to have time to just do whatever you want to do. And that can mean get a massage, read a book, just sit on the beach, do nothing. You could sit in a little cabana or sit by the beach on one of those, I'm spacing on the word for it, but basically when you're just lying by trees and you're sitting and you just have nothing to worry about, it's carefree. Maybe you have friends there, maybe you're alone, but you're absolutely without any worry. So that's where we like to get to, because we know worry and stress causes a lot of medical problems. And as I said before, I'm a medical doctor. I'm a board certified OBGYN, and I do a lot for women's health in perimenopause and menopause, and I am the creator and founder of Amazing Over 40. So please, again, tell your friends and family to go visit that site, because there's a lot of cool things on that site that will help you as well as those around you. So another part of a real vacation is, I love this part. And this is where I go to the vacation places where it's called all-inclusive. So what that means is when you go on vacation, you may not necessarily have to leave that resort. So it has all the food, it has the restaurants, it has all the activities. You don't necessarily have to be at 7 o'clock to meet the bus to go to the XYZ place. You can just get up at whatever time you want. You head down to breakfast, you have a little breakfast, then you go take a little nap, let's say, by the pool, you read a book, then you figure out you want to go to lunch, which is one of the restaurants you can choose from. So it's really a stress-free type environment, and that's where you can get that at other places. But I really found that when I went to an all-inclusive vacation, it was like going to business class versus economy, right? So how many of us have gone on plane, airport rides that we're going and we have to take economy, which I get it. It's cheaper and sometimes you just don't have the resources to do that. But I finally let myself go business class, and oh my God, that was a game changer. I got to sleep on the plane. It was less noise. I got up in the morning. This was to Italy. I took a flight overnight, and being able then to function the next day and see Italy, we went to Rome, and not feeling hungover, crazy, crazy experience that once you do it, it's hard to go back to economy. So it's like business class. So basically, if you go to all inclusive, it's all included. You don't need to worry about those details. Now, sometimes if you want to have more adventure and you want to plan some of those things, that's absolutely wonderful. But I do encourage you to try to take some of those vacations where it's less planned, less worry, and more time just to kind of go into yourself and really reconnect to what you want. How do you want to live? What's life all about? Some of those pretty deep questions that some of us don't really get into because we're running around like heads, a chicken with our heads cut off, right? We're running from point A to B and we don't know what's happening in between. So vacations can really ground you also to start feeling what your life is about, what you might want your life to be about, and what's really important for you. And then your excursions should really be planned, but not crazy. That, like, I think you know that when it's Tuesday, it's Belgium, there's a movie, and they were so structured that you get stressed out because you have to go to this place and that place and that place. So what I like to do on my vacation is kind of have a few excursions, maybe 2 for the whole week, and then I can have the rest where it's kind of carefree. And those excursions, I can meet people, I get to know what's good places to eat, let's say, or other excursions that are really fun. So it's fun to meet people that way too. But I think if you're too planned, it gets a little crazy. So that's my tips about why you need a real vacation. It's 5 o'clock here, so it's happy hour. So I'm having a little of my white wine. And what is a real vacation? So that's where I went into what I call a real vacation, and then what the benefits are of a real vacation. So I know many of you are asking, well, what's going to be your next real vacation, right? So many of you know I love Italy, and so my next real vacation is going to be in Sardinia. So if any of you are interested in going to Sardinia, please go to my Amazing Over 40 website and check on retreats. Click on retreats, and it's going to explain all about Sardinia, Italy. Now, you may wonder, well, why did you choose Sardinia, right? Well, it's because it's one of the blue zones. And the blue zones are really cool. There's a man who many of you may have heard of. His name is Dan Buettner, and he's written books about the blue zone. I think he actually made the term the blue zone also, which it just means those places in the world where people live longer. There's basically the most centenarians, that is people who live to 100 years old in these places. And some of the places that he discusses that are the quote blue zones include Sardinia. That's why we're going to go check out Sardinia. There's also the other places are, let's see, besides Sardinia, there's, oh my God, I'm going to pronounce it wrong, but Icaria, Greece, which is an Aegean island off of one of the world's lowest of middle-age mortality and the lowest rates of dementia. And there's also a place in Costa Rica, Nicola Peninsula. There's Loma Linda, California. And what's interesting about Loma Linda is that's a pretty high concentration of Seventh-day Adventists. And they eat more vegetarian and they have less alcohol. And the other place is Okinawa, Japan, where females over 70 are the longest lived population in the world. So that's pretty cool. So when you think about why these people live so long in those blue zones, it's because they have different lifestyle habits that they do. And one of it is about exercise, like actually moving. So you know that here in the United States, we've gotten very much into technology. We sit at our desks. We don't really go to the farmer's market. We go to the grocery store and we drive to the grocery store. Well, if we actually exercised and went to farmers markets, we would be improving our health as well as our longevity. And that's because we're exercising, we're getting fresher fruits and vegetables, and people that live in the blue zones are doing that. There's also a sense of purpose. And this goes back to when you're on vacation, why it's important to really look at your life and say, well, what do I want now? This may have been the past what I did, but what do I want from here on today onward? And what purpose do you have in this world? And then there's also called downshifting, which means decreasing the stress, like having a time of the day where you might just breathe or meditate, right? Or just pet your dog or your cat and just be in that moment. And it might be a minute, it might be 20 minutes, but whatever you can do to kind of bring it down a notch, that's what they mean by downshifting. And there's also the eating, the 80% rule, which means you're going to stop eating when you're about 80% satisfied. So some of us love to gorge, like Thanksgiving, let's say, and we eat more than we probably should. But what if we stopped at 80% of what we were eating and we let our stomach just settle and just not rush and take that another 20%? We're actually going to lose weight, feel better, and have less risk for obesity. And also eating a plant-based diet. So as you know, in Sardinia, it's on the Mediterranean, and I love seafood, and I love olive oil, and I love the Mediterranean diet. And that is the diet that most dietitians promote to have the best health, the longest longevity, and the most happy life that you can. Also, some wine in moderation is also good, but again, in moderation. And with company, that is having connection with community, that's also really, really important. So belonging to like a family or a community, could be a church, it could be a book club, some sense that you're part of a group that has a purpose and you have happiness with that group. Also having your loved ones first, that is, have your family be important to you. And when you look about like Okinawa, Japan, they really respect their elderly. So like the grandparents many times live with the younger children as well as the mid-generation. So the whole family is living together in one household and they really respect the elders. And then the right tribe. This is an actually really interesting one to me because they found that the 5 people that you most associate with really kind of determines your success in life, how happy you are. So you think about those of us who, let's say, your 5 people that you hang out with most are your work colleagues, and you're all stressed out. You go to happy hour, you maybe drink too much, you don't exercise, you're kind of bummed out about life, so you're kind of commiserate about all the bad things. Well, what about if you took someone who says, I am volunteering at this place, I'm happy, I'm exercising, and basically it's the 5 people you have in your life determine what happens, which is kind of an odd thought, but it makes sense. So how much money you make, how happy you are, your lifestyle habits, how much exercise you do, how much sleep you're going to get is all affected by the 5 people that you most associate with. It's pretty cool, right? And Kona, I associate with Kona because Kona is my little love bug. He just loves to be pet. So I hope some of you enjoyed all of today's information. We talked about the vacation vibes and why it's important to go on vacation. We also talked about what's a real vacation and what it means to be like let go and really be in the moment and just be. And then we talked about the blue zones and why people in the blue zones live so long. So if you do want to join me to Sardinia, and it's going to be one of those real vacations because we're going to have some excursions, but it's very optional. It's not mandatory. If you want to sleep and go to the spa, totally fine. If you want to read a book, totally fine. It's for you to do what you want to do. And if you want to learn about Sardinian culture, the cooking, the mentality of the people that live in Sardinia, how they have less stress, why they eat olive oil and seafood, please join me and check it out on my website on amazingover40.com. And know that I will always be here for you every second and third Thursday, as long as technology helps me do it. I will be here for you with or without Kona, but mostly with Kona because he loves to be on these Facebook Lives with me. And just know that please share this with your friends or your relatives and know that We're here to inspire, empower, and really make life the most amazing it can be at whatever age you are. So, again, this is Dr. Diana Hoppe, the founder and creator of Amazing Over 40. Hoping that you have an incredible evening, you enjoy yourself, and that you consider taking a real vacation. And with that, I'm going to let you all have a wonderful evening. And as always, as I say, stay amazing.